Fantasy Football Factory Week 6. We got the King of South, Mintzy. We got Moody. I am Stephen Cheah. We are, as always, brought to you by DraftKings, but this time we're brought to you by the DraftKings Pick 6 app. Pick 6 is super easy. You pick two or more players have more or less of a certain stat. Will Jamar Chase have more or less than 58.5 yards receiving? Will Taylor Gabriel throw more or less than half a touchdown pass? Very easy stuff. Combine your picks together for an even bigger payout. New DraftKings customers play $5, get $50 in bonus picks. Get in on the action. Sign up using our promo code FACTORY, FACTORY. The DraftKings Pick 6 app is awesome. And if sports betting is not yet legal in your state, Pick 6 is available in a lot of those states, so check that out if you live in one of those states. All right, we're 5 weeks through the NFL and fantasy football season. Lamar Jackson is injured. He missed this past week's game. We got Derrick Henry, who is a first-round pick in most leagues, struggling. We've got Omarion Hampton, a promising rookie, who has gone down and now is on IR. We have no idea what to do with the Chargers situation, who are already missing both tackles. Where do we want to start, Mintzy?
Well, the Marion Hampton thing, it's going to be 4 weeks. It looks like that's a big killer. I mean, there's no getting around it. Hassan Haskins probably in line to be the starter, but could split.
Lonnie Vidal, yeah.
But regardless of that, though, line situations, I mean, it's a train wreck. Playing without both tackles. One of their guards got hurt last week. I mean, you watch that. I mean, they couldn't block the Commanders. They couldn't block the Giants the week before. I mean, even if you go with Haskins, I mean, without an O-line. Granted, they are playing Miami this week, who can't stop anybody, so maybe. But it's a bad situation. And when you look at the Chargers, started 3-0, people thought they were the best team in the NFL. Things have gone south in a hurry.
Yeah. Moody, what does this do to Chargers pass catchers for you, like Keenan Allen or Ladd McConkey, even Quentin Johnston?
I mean, obviously the offensive line play is going to be worse, so you're going to worry about Justin Herbert getting sacked. But if they can just hold up a little bit, this is going to turn into a passing team. I mean, and that's one thing that was surprising coming into this year was how much they were throwing the ball to begin with. So I think this just puts so much more pressure on Ladd, especially to step up. Keenan Allen to keep being the playmaker he's been, especially on third downs. And then Quentin Johnson. Maybe that worries me a little bit more about Quentin Johnson because a lot of his routes develop downfield, and maybe Herbert won't have as much time to look downfield. So I think Ladd probably the biggest winner from all of this. But it just puts a lot of pressure on them to step up and win games. So I worry more about Quentin Johnston because he's the deep threat, and will those plays have enough time to develop with that beat-up offensive line? And then I guess it's Haskins in the backfield. Don't love it. We'll see if it all steps up. I mean, I think both of those guys are going to be bottom of the barrel flex plays, to be honest.
Yeah, I think something that we saw the Chargers do as an adjustment to their tackles going down is throw the running back the ball a lot more. Omarion Hampton's last 3 games, 6 catches, 5 catches, 6 catches. Where do those catches go? Is that Kamani Vidal, which was a strength of his prior? Is he going to get more of those passes? Because they're going to need to do something, because to offset the pass rush, you either need to block better or you need to get the ball out quicker. With the running back, you can present the chip option. You can run some screens. You can do a lot of creative stuff, which they were doing with Hampton, who was, those pass catcher numbers for a running back are incredible, and obviously boosted his value quite a bit. So I'm interested to see where the Chargers' volume goes, but I do expect an increase in Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, and then whichever running back they go, either Haskins or Kamani Vidal. Ravens. So what do we do? Cooper Rush and the Ravens did not look competitive at all against the Houston Texans. Is this a blip on the radar, or are we selling all of our Baltimore Ravens, Mintzy?
The Derrick Henry thing is, you already kind of mentioned it for a second. The problem with the Derrick Henry thing is if they get down, he just gets taken out of the game. Like it's a game flow thing. When the game's close or they have the lead, they run him. But if they get down, he's not on the field.
Yeah.
And so if they're playing from behind, I mean, he's going to get 10 carries. If that, Justice Hill gets in. And so that's a real concern, especially this week when you're playing the Rams at home. You're a 7.5-point underdog. That's tough, man. As far as the rest of the guys go, I mean, Zay Flowers still had a decent game. Granted, it was garbage time. But Rush threw for an okay amount of yards. But man, the Derrick Henry thing is what's the most concerning. But how do you bench him though? I mean, I don't know. I just think you're kind of stuck. I mean, like it's one of those
He's gonna be a
things.
first or second round pick for you, regardless of format.
Yeah, but I mean, like I mean, unless you have like really good running back depth, I think you just got to hope for the best, right?
Yeah, it's a tough spot. He did manage against the end zone, which saved a lot of people's weeks, but tough sled. Moody, what are you doing with Derrick Henry?
I was right that he would get more touches. He was the second most touches of the year, but he did absolutely nothing with them. He averaged 2.2 yards per carry. That was his second lowest of the season. Derrick Henry averaging 2 yards a pop is just unheard of. I mean, it's just crazy to even come out of my mouth right now. But yeah, I think Mintz is right. I don't know how you sit him because unless you have a lot of depth at running back, or maybe you've got a flex receiver you can throw in there, you could think about benching him, but game flow is going to be a concern. And if he's only going to be averaging 2 yards a pop, I mean, this is a
Right.
very, very dire situation here. So last week I said I wasn't super worried about Derrick Henry. I thought he would still get a ton of touches. If they can play from ahead or at least be in the game, he will still get his touches. But it doesn't look like those are going to be valuable touches, at least from what we saw last week.
Yeah, the problem is, their defense is terrible. So,
Yeah.
He can be the Derrick Henry we've been used to, which is an explosive, powerful runner. But if they're down, they're going to put Justice Hill in the game because he can catch passes. So it's going to be tough
One other
sledding,
thing
and
I
this
will
week
say,
it doesn't
though,
get much easier.
one other thing I will say about Derrick Henry, you may have to keep him in your lineup because he can bust one for 70 at any moment.
Yeah.
So like just one crease and he's gone. You know what I mean? So like you still have to keep that in mind with him being on your team. So like he's always got that factor. I think that's something you have to keep in mind if you're thinking about benching him.
I would say for fantasy managers, it is hard to fully panic if you have one of these blue chip first, second round guys. Jamar Chase, we saw obviously Joe Burrow go down. There's some Chase Browning or Jake Browning weeks where it doesn't look great, and all of a sudden, yes, it's more in garbage time, but he goes off for a big game, 2 touchdowns against Detroit. So I think you got to kind of go with the ebbs and flows of the fantasy season. I am worried about Derrick Henry long term, even if Lamar comes back, just because the defense is so bad, which is something that he can't even control. So I am a little bit more of a seller on Derrick Henry and all Ravens in general, outside of maybe Zay Flowers. But it doesn't look great. But I would advise don't go full panic and sell for pennies on the dollar. All right, let's talk about the Week 6 slate. We'll go just the classic Sunday game. So we're going to exclude the Philly Giants game on Thursday and the Denver Jets game, which will be from London. We're also going to miss out on some fun games. So we got Detroit, Kansas City Sunday night, Buffalo, Atlanta on Monday in the first game, and then the Pardon My Take Bowl, Chicago, Washington in the second game. So let's start with Arizona at Indy. This line opened at 5.5. The Colts has moved to 6.5. Over under is 47.5. Rams going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. The Rams are favored by 7.5. 44.5 is the total. We got Cleveland going to Pittsburgh. The line opened at 4.5. It's moved to 5.5 for Pittsburgh. 38.5 is total. Very low total there. Then we got Seattle going to Jacksonville. The Jags favored by 1.5 on a short week at home. 46.
Both teams coming off just absolute thrillers too. I mean, that game last night, and then dude, that Bucs Seattle game Sunday was. What an epic game.
Incredible game. We got the Chargers going to Miami. This line opened at 5.5 for the Chargers. It's down to 3.5. The total is 43.5 for the quarterbacks picked directly after each other, Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa. We got Dallas going to Carolina in the Rico Dowdle revenge game. The Cowboys favored by 3.5. 49.5 is the total. That is the highest total of this slate for the classic game. Then we got New England going to New Orleans. The Patriots 3.5 point favorites on the road. 45.5.
Sneaky high total there. That one might have some fantasy value.
45.5. Yeah. Tennessee going to Vegas. The Raiders favored by 4.5 points. 41.5 is the total. San Francisco going to Tampa. The Bucs favored by 2.5 points. 47.5 is the total. And then finally Cincinnati going to Green Bay in the biggest spread of the game. Packers favored by 14.5 points. 44.5 is the total. Moody, what game stands out to you from this slate?
I will say this is probably the ugliest Sunday slate, like the midday games, the early games, and late day games. that we've had the entire season. These are pretty ugly for the
The
most part outside
primetime
of a
games are
couple of
good outside of Thursday, but
yes. Yeah, for
yes.
sure. But the Sundays, a lot of these are ugly. As far as fantasy and high point totals are concerned, I think you have to look at the Cowboys and the Panthers. Cowboys defense just they looked good for the first 3 quarters. They still gave up points late. Fantasy quarterbacks playing against the Dallas Cowboys are QB1. I saw a stat on that yesterday. So whoever is playing against the Cowboys, they're QB1 overall. So you have to think that maybe Bryce Young has a decent game here. I think there could. I know the Panthers defense has looked better this season comparative to last season. Still not great. I think Jaguars Seahawks is a really good game, and then obviously Bucks 49ers is a good game that could potentially turn into a shootout. Mac Jones seeing dead bodies, throwing touchdowns, playing ball. I mean, you got to give Mac Jones a ton of credit for what he has done so far in that system. And then, of course, on the other side, you got Baker Mayfield, Cheah. I mean, it's just got to be such a pleasure to wake up on Sundays and know that you get to watch that guy play on your team. What an absolute stud. What a gamer. I think that's a fun game as well.
Absolutely. Mintzy, what game stands out to you?
Cowboys Panthers. Also want to mention the Arizona at Indy game. We're at a point with this Indianapolis situation when they're playing at home. It's like a party with their offense. Every home game they've played so far this year, I mean, everybody's eating. Taylor, Daniel Jones, Tyler Warren. I mean, it's getting to where they're scoring a lot of points on that turf, and it's consistent. So, but that one thing with that game is Kyler Murray hurt his foot, and he's questionable this week. He should play, but if that limits his mobility, I mean, he already doesn't run as much as he probably should. But that's going to hurt them. And we saw, I don't know what the hell happened to Arizona in that second. I mean, that was one of the craziest meltdowns. I mean, they were up 21 to 3 or 21-6 early. And just, one of the biggest choke meltdowns we've ever seen to lose at home to Tennessee. I mean, that was just an inexplicable loss. And then I mentioned it. I think Saints Pats has got some sneaky value being on the turf. Drake May goes 13 for 14 for 184 yards in the second half against Buffalo on Sunday night. Just unbelievable performance. And he's mobile, so maybe he can run a little bit. And on the Saints end, I know they're not great or anything, but they get some points at home. So that one could be kind of a sneaky one. But like you said, and Niners Bucks too, but it's not the greatest week. That Cleveland-Pittsburgh especially is ugly.
Yeah. One that could have a little bit of value is Tennessee-Vegas. 2 quarterbacks that you've seen struggling. Like, I would anticipate both of them playing better against inferior competition than what they have seen. 41.5 is the total. Vegas favored by 4.5, so this could be a big Genty game. This could, Brock Bowers, it looks like, is week to week, and that's a situation in itself where if you drafted Brock Bowers, you're trying to buy the top of the tight end market, and that has not worked out for you so far. And projecting moving forward, you're in kind of a pickle, because if he's going to be labeled week to week, you're not going to be able to put him on your injured list until maybe Sunday morning, like it came out this week that he's going to be out. So that's a bit of a tough spot. Maybe you see, maybe this is another Trey Tucker week. Maybe this is a Jacoby Myers week. Maybe this is a Dante Thornton week. That I think there are some possibilities, but we obviously covered the big games.
Geno 9 picks already.
Yeah, it's hard when you have to. A lot of it's on him, but I wouldn't say it's all on him. All right, let's talk about the classic slate. So those games we talked about. Let's go in the quarterback market. Starts with Lamar Jackson, who is questionable at the moment, $7,000. Baker Mayfield, $6,600. Dak Prescott, $65. Matthew Stafford, $64. Justin Herbert, $63. Jordan Love, $6,200. And it goes down by hundreds after that. You can get all the way down to Dylan Gabriel is $4,400. Andy Dalton, $43. Jacoby Brissett, $42. Unlikely those bottom 2 guys are going to play, but you never know. We're early in the week. So who stands out to you in the quarterback market? Mintzy.
All right, there are a few. I'm leaning Daniel Jones at 6,000 on the Indiana Jones thing. Like I said, playing at home against Arizona, over under 47.5. I know last week they rolled the Raiders, scored like 40 points. Taylor got in the end zone 3 times, though. But there's still room for everybody to eat there. And, Tyler Warren's emerged. They got a good running game. Jones is mobile. And, everybody was down on the Colts receiving core going into the year, but, it seems like they've had 3 or 4 guys that can at least make some plays. mean, it's not as bad as we thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of leaning there. Drake May against Nola is interesting at 6,000. And then, if you spent the money on Dak Prescott at 6,500, I wouldn't hate that either. But I think I'm leaning to Indiana Jones, which is such a great nickname.
Okay. All right. Moody, who do you like for the quarterbacks?
Well, I just mentioned a minute ago that the Cowboys, whoever they're playing is QB1. I think I might go with Bryce Young here. I don't like it. Obviously, I'm a bit of a Bryce Young hater. I don't necessarily think he's that great, but he played decent last week. This is the best spot for him, and you're saving so much money. You can go to the top of the market at almost every other position. I think I'm going Bryce Young at 4,800. I also like Stafford a little bit against a Baltimore defense that's been awful as well. My concern in that game is that the Rams get up and they run the ball in the second half. It's the Kyron Blake Corum show. That's my main concern. So I think I'm going with Bryce Young. I don't necessarily love it, but I think as far as value is concerned, Bryce Young's to play.
Okay. I am going in the quarterback market. I think you got to look at that Dallas-Carolina game for sure. I think Daniel Jones is also a good call. One guy I would point out is Sam Darnold, coming off a really, really good game where his only mistake really was a ball that was thrown off of a helmet and deflected for an interception. Him going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a very opportunistic defense. They intercept opposing quarterbacks more than anyone else. But at the same time, I think Seattle is a team that can put points on the board with Jackson Smith-Njigba, with Cooper Kupp, with their two tight ends, Elijah Arroyo and A.J. Barner, and obviously their running game. I think this is a spot where you could see some value there at $5,400 where, guys like Jones, 6,000, who else was mentioned? Bryce Young is a little bit cheaper at 4,800, but I think this is a spot where if you did want to pinch some pennies, there is an opportunity there where he could have a good game. He was, on a lot of winning lineups this week with Sam Darnold. All right, let's talk about running backs. I actually have my plant your flag guy here, so I'm actually going to lead this off. Running back market. There's one guy I'm starting this week in all my lineups, and it's not a crazy underdog like last week. We're sticking pretty to the top. We're going Ashton Genty, going against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans give up 117 yards on the ground per game. We saw Genty run wild against, who was it? It was 2 weeks.
Bears.
Against the Bears, 138 yards on the ground. He had a couple touchdowns in that game, 3 total touchdowns. This is a spot where the Raiders could actually be playing from ahead or playing in control and be able to control the ball. Obviously, Geno Smith, we just talked about, has not been very good this season. Ashton Genty, when given the opportunity, has been very good. I think Vegas looks to control the clock this week, control the ball. There's no better guy than the guy they picked in the first round this year. Ashton Genty going against a leaky Titans run D is the guy that I'd be targeting for my lineup. So Ashton Genty is my plant your flag guy of the week this week.
Seems like he's gotten better since he started using a regular NFL running back stance.
I saw him last week. He was still pretty upright.
Okay.
I don't know if you're necessarily going to change that. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs does a very similar thing. Maybe that's just the new wave. But Mintzy, who do you like in the running back?
I'm going to go ahead and plant my flag too, and it's chalky as well. But, I mean, Josh Jacobs is scoring 2 touchdowns this week. It's happening. I mean, it's 7,300, but the Bengals run defense can't stop me. The Bengals run D is atrocious. This game's up in Green Bay. Green Bay is going to be playing with the lead. Jake Browning can't threaten them. They're just going to run it down their throats. They're going to win by like two touchdowns to 21. And Jacobs is finding the end zone not once but twice.
Okay, I like that. Mintzy, let me get your take on one guy for the Saints, Kendre Miller.
Like what I'm seeing. He looks explosive. He kind of flashed a little bit late last year. He's looked really good this year. He's getting more carries. It's kind of a split. He's been getting 10 or 11 carries. The Pats have a really good run defense, but their pass defense isn't that good. So I don't know about the matchup necessarily this week, but I'm long on him for sure, especially with the Saints being out of it. There's a chance Kamara might be out toward the end of the year, and Miller could be a guy in fantasy playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Moody, who do you like in the running back slate for this week?
I have Ashton Genty on my card as well. I agree with everything you said, Cheah. This is possibly going to be the week where they play from ahead. They're able to finally utilize him the way they want to utilize him.
Mm-hmm.
Also like Kyron Williams. I mentioned a moment ago that I think that The Rams probably play from ahead a lot. They run the football with him. Baltimore has just been getting gashed in the run game, in the passing game. I think Kyron Williams has a big week right there. And then, if you're looking for a flex play, I think you have to take a look at either Haskins or Vidal. I know you don't probably love it, but you got to, if it comes out that one of them is going to be the guy, there could be some sneaky value there potentially. We saw what Rico Dowdle did this week. We saw what some of these guys stepping into roles have done, so there could be some value there, but definitely Genty and Williams, my top two this week.
All right.
It's going to be real interesting to watch if the Chuba situation with Rico Dowdle this week, because Dowdle, ex-Cowboy, and Dowdle obviously ran for 200 yards. If Chuba doesn't play, Dowdle at 5,800's definitely got to be considered. But I also think there's a thing in DraftKings, like you kind of want to be on the people that everybody's not on. And if Dowdle, if Hubbard's out, everybody and their mom's playing Dowdle this week. I mean, it's a great matchup, but I don't know. That's one to watch. And then, I was looking at the Haskins thing too. I know he's not great, but Miami's run defense is so bad that, maybe there's still some value there.
Mm-hmm. One name I would watch, and we're early in the week, so we don't know if he's going to be activated and playing. Tajay Spears, if he gets the call up, he was on injured reserve, and his practice window has opened. If he gets a call up, he's an interesting guy to watch. $4,500 for.
Deep down the Justice Hill thing with what we talked about with Henry.
Yeah.
If the Ravens are playing from behind, Hill has value because he catches so many balls.
4,700. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one to look at too.
And on the other
Spears
end,
did play this week.
Oh,
by
he
the way.
did. Okay.
He did. I mean, he got 4 touches for 14 yards. He didn't do much, so they're obviously slowly working him back in, but he is active. Probably will be back in week 6 as well.
Okay, great. Another guy on the opposite side, Mintzy, Blake Corum, if the Rams are up big, $4,800. All right, let's go to receivers. We got Puka Nacua, top of the market, $8,700. $1,000 drop to the next player, which is Jamar Chase, $7,700. Jackson Smith and Jigba, $7,600. CeeDee Lamb, $7,500. Emeka Ibuka, $7,200. We got George Pickens, $6,800. Devontae Adams, $6,700. Goes down by hundreds for the most part after that. You can get someone playable all the way down to about $4,000. Moody, who stands out to you here?
Well, I'm starting with my plant your flag play of the week. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. against the Indianapolis Colts. On the turf in Indy, MHJ had a touchdown, and then he didn't have a touchdown. And I'll tell you what, that cost me my touchdown parlay this week. I was typing out the celebration for the touchdown parlay, and then I find out he didn't score. Heartbreaker, absolute heartbreaker. I think he has a big week though. $5,300. You're still getting good value on him. He's looked much better. People were panicking on him early. He's looked really good, especially when Kyler Murray just throws it up to him and lets him go make a play. I think this is a situation where they could be playing from behind and they need to throw it a lot, especially in the second half. Love Marvin Harrison Jr. at $5,300. I've also got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I'm spending most of my money on, $7,600. One of the best fantasy receivers in all the game right now. I think that's a good matchup for him against Jacksonville. And then I have Tetaroa McMillan, who I said was going to break out a couple weeks ago. This is the week. If it's going to happen, if he's going to get into the end zone, this is the matchup. The Dallas Cowboys. I mean, even if it comes in the second half, that's fine. I think this is the spot for Ted. I love Ted at $6K. Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Tetaroa McMillan. Lock them in at wide receiver for me.
I like it. Mintzy, what do you got?
All right. I am going to go with, these price, they're finally getting the right price on JSN because there was so much value there, and now he's being treated by like one of the top guys in the level. Man, it's boring to say. I'm taking George Pickens at $6,800. He's scoring every week, and if CeeDee Lamb, this is pending CeeDee Lamb being out, but I think he is. He says questionable right now. But if Lamb's out, Pickens is getting the targets and getting the ball down the field. That over-under is high, so I'm going to spend the $6,800. A couple more guys I like this week. I rode him in that parlay. I hit a big 26-1 shot Sunday night. Look, Stephon Diggs is cooking right now, and I don't know, who knows if he'll stay healthy. He's playing the Saints. It's $5,800. Diggs had 101 yards 2 weeks ago against Carolina, and he had almost 150 against Buffalo. He's emerged as the top target. Games on turf, 45.5 over-under, and, I don't think the Saints' defense is all that good. And then I'm mad I didn't say it last week because I hate being a week late, but the Shaheed Dome thing came back. I mean, he caught the 88-yarder or whatever. Hit 3 for 114 and a touchdown at 4,600. Anytime he plays on the turf, he can bust a long one. So I'm looking at that as my cheap one.
Okay, I like those. I also had Pickens highlighted and Tedrow McMillan highlighted. One guy I would like to add to that group, Michael Pittman Jr., 5,400. He caught a touchdown this week, a bunch of targets. He's been very reliable for Daniel Jones and been a consistent red zone threat. So I like Michael Pittman Jr. at 5,400. And then another one, a guy who has been wide receiver 1 overall in the week this year, Trey Tucker. Obviously this game has the potential to be very much in favor of the Raiders. So is this one where they can get out early with a big shot? I think he's worth looking at $4,800 whenever they are going to be constantly running the ball. That is going to free up some deep shots in the game. So Trey Tucker is one I would look at $4,800. All right, let's go to the tight end market. Gentlemen, we have on top of the market Trey McBride, $5,500. Jake Ferguson, $5,300. Brock Bowers currently listed as questionable, $5,100. Tyler Warren, $4,900. Tucker Kraft, $4,700. Hunter Henry, $4,300, and it goes down. Or sorry, Darren Waller, $4,000, and it goes down.
Another big game for Waller.
Another big game for Waller. You can get some playable guys down to the $2,500 level. Who you guys rolling with tight ends? Moody, I'll start with you.
I actually think this is a really good week for tight ends. There's some pretty good matchups out there.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Henry sticks out to me the most against the New Orleans Saints. Hunter Henry's been very good. He's been so reliable for Drake May. I like Hunter Henry just a bit there. You could spend the money on Trey McBride. Wouldn't blame you whatsoever in the dome. And then Jake Ferguson. I mean, talk about a security blanket. It feels like Dak's throwing him 12 targets a game. He has been absolutely sensational, and he's getting touchdowns. He's really been their red zone threat. So you could make a case for Jake Ferguson as well if you have the money to spend. I think I'm going for Hunter Henry at 4,300. I just think he's the best value for the money right there.
Maybe another week late thing, but I'm jumping on a Waller at 4,000 because, and I'll tell you exactly why. We saw this last year with Jonnu Smith. With Tyreek Hill out, Tua looks the tight end like freaking crazy. And Jonnu caught 1,000,000 balls last year. Waller stepped into that role. He had like 80 and a touchdown this week after a 2-touchdown game on Monday night. So until he gets priced up higher, I'm going to ride this heater because watching that offense, Tua goes to the tight end a lot. 4,000 is not bad.
Yeah. I like any tight end playing the Bengals, and this week it's going to be Tucker Kraft. We saw Sam Laporta have a big game. Pretty much every tight end that plays the Bengals has a very big game. They're leading the NFL in targets for opposing tight ends. So give me Tucker Kraft, $4,700 in a home game against Cincinnati, a game that they should control, but even when they are controlling it, they're going to throw it at some points, in which case the play action should be open up for Kraft. All right, let's talk about defenses. The aforementioned Packers top the list at $3,700. The Steelers $3,600. Rams going to Baltimore $3,500. It goes down by hundreds after that. You can get all the way down to the Cincinnati Bengals at Green Bay for $2,000. Mintzy, who stands out to you in the defense market?
Man, I can't believe I'm doing this, but it's just money saving time because I've spent it. I think I'm taking Miami at $2,200 with the Chargers just being this beat up.
Wow.
It's cheap. I'm just doing it to save money. But games in South Florida, noon kickoff, Chargers O-line's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm merely doing it as a money-saving adventure. But I'm thinking about that. I'm running low on money.
Okay.
Thought about the Titans at $2,400 too.
Moody, who do you got at the running back position?
I'm also low on money, but I'm going with the Cleveland Browns at 2,500. It's a great defense. This is a really good defense, and this is the projected lowest scoring game of the week. I think this is going to be one of those AFC North just absolute battles. You know what I mean? Like, this just reeks of us. These two teams have played 10-3 games many times before. I think you've got one of those kind of games coming up here. I think the Cleveland defense gets leaned on heavily along with Judkins in this game. Give me Cleveland at 2,500 for my defense.
I like that. A couple I would look at, obviously, Green Bay, if you can afford the money, going against Cincinnati, $3,700. They are priced appropriately. The Raiders going against the Titans. The Titans obviously had a big week with the win. Things are flying high, but let's not forget, until that, whatever you want to call it, that blocked punt that Tyler Lockett fell on that was fumbled into the.
I mean, that was crazy, man.
That was an interception. That game could have been over. It was an interception that got fumbled, rolled into the end zone, and they recovered it.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, so I mean, like they had literally had the game. So the Titans win completely fraudulent if you're looking at it from that standpoint.
So $3,200 for the Raiders defense going against that Titans defense that, or Titans offense not very good, and that was shut out by the Texans just 2 weeks ago. And then if you want to go on the cheap side, I do like the call on the Browns. But where are they? I don't hate the Patriots at $3,100 going against the Saints. Similar, the vibes riding high for the Saints coming off a win. Taysom Hill did come back. They looked a little.
But I mean, they won because the Giants had 5 turnovers and 5 possessions. I mean, that's pretty bad.
A Mike Vrabel team's likely not going to do that. So, Patriots at $3,100 going against the Titans. Going against the Saints. That's it. Any closing thoughts, boys?
Matthew Golden, another name to take a look at this week. I think against Cincinnati, they've been getting torched. I feel like this could be. He's been getting more and more targets. Somebody else I would throw out there to keep an eye on.
Coming off a bye too, so.
Yep, they're going to start to work him in more and more. I think he's someone to look at this week for sure.
And also just follow us. We're releasing all our picks on Twitter. Moody's been doing good with the touchdown scores. Cheah and I are firing the parlays. I hit 3 over plus 2,500s in 3 weeks. I mean, what a heater. So we're going to keep them coming. So follow us. And we're trying to make some money on the DraftKings Sportsbook.
And you're going to get those out earlier before kickoff, right? Because we want to tail those.
Yes. We're going to start getting them out a few hours before. I've been putting them up like 5 minutes before.
Yeah.
90 minutes, Mintz. Aim for 90 minutes. It's the perfect time to put them in.
Well, the thing is with DraftKings, man, they have so many great offerings on their sports books, but they have 20% boosts on parlays on those primetime games on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night. So that's what I'm doing.
But those are out in advance.
Oh, yeah, I got it out about an hour and a half out before the Monday night game.
You did.
So we're improving.
Okay. All right. For the King of South Mintzy, for Moody, I am Stephen Cheah. Hopefully we'll see you this weekend in the winner's circle.
The crowd is yours.